I'm Neil Graham, editor of Cycle Canada magazine, and we're at the 2012 Toronto Motorcycle Show. It's the first motorcycle show of the new season. It's the largest show. And the show officially starts tomorrow, but come with us, we're going to have a look around and have a look at what's new. Well, here it is, first time in Canada. It's the 1199 Panigale by Ducati. It's the first time we've been excited about a motorcycle named after a neighborhood. Borgo Panigale is where they make these things, just on the outskirts of Bologna. My first impression was that it's much smaller in person than it's seen in photographs. It's a really tiny bike, and it's really quite exquisite. I think it's a real step forward from the looks of the 1198. The process by which they make Ducatis is a little bit different than some of the Japanese companies. The Japanese tend to have a clean sheet of paper and they start anew. But Ducati, it's really about evolution. Everything changes really slowly, and it's just refinement, refinement, refinement. Well, this motorcycle is kind of a step away from that. It really is a fresh new design. One of the things that's interesting is the rear shock is right along the side. And these odd little wires that come out the top are how you adjust the damping. And you can do it electronically from the dashboard. You still have to manually adjust the spring tension, but you can do this on the fly. Now, this is the uprated model with the Öhlins suspension. The base model is the same price as the outgoing 1198. It's $20,000. This one is more because you get the fancy suspension. As you can see, the Panigale has a single-sided swing arm like the 1198, like the 916, and that was the nod to tradition. Now, what they've done is they've obviously gone with the new underslung exhaust, and the thinking is that you can't give Ducati customers too many new things to process because they like their tradition. They like to think their motorcycle is new and modern, but they don't want to give up certain things. We're here at the MV booth at the Toronto Motorcycle Show, and what we have here is the F4RR Corsa Corta. Now, it's similar to the F4 that I rode in Spain about 2 years ago. The difference is you can actually buy this one because now they're in the country. Now, this is sort of the hot rod version. It's got the short stroke engine and claims 200 horsepower. One of the really nice things about this F4RR is the finish. It's this lovely sort of matte white finish. It reminds me of the Ducati dark models, but the other end being light. And it's got a beautiful logo. And the tank, it says here, makes reference to the 37 World Championships. So you can have all your Giacomo Agostini fantasies right here. Well, they finally uncrated it. It's the first one in Canada. This is it. This is the bike that a lot of people have really been interested in. It's the MV Agusta F3. And it's always interesting when you see a bike in person that you've only seen in photographs. And you know it's a small bike in pictures, but when you're actually beside it, it's so tiny. It feels like a sub 600 in size. One of the signature features on this MV are these really beautiful exhaust pipes and, of course, the single-sided swing arm. What's interesting about this design, done by the late Massimo Tamburini, is that it really is a Ducati 916. When he left Ducati, went to MV, he designed the F4, which is very much in the mold of the Ducati 916. And this bike really, other than the exhaust, which has gone from here on the F4 to here on the F3, it's very much an old design, but it's been updated, it's been made more contemporary, more angular, more aggressive, and it actually has stood the test of time. Price-wise, the F3 compares pretty well with its most direct competitor, which is the Triumph 675. Now, the 675R is $500 less than this bike. This is $15,000, it's $14,500. 675R Triumph has Öhlins suspension. This does not, but it has traction control. So I would take traction control over the Öhlins, although it's very nice. So the bikes are very competitively priced. But it is still, it's a lot of money for a small capacity bike. For instance, Yamaha's R1 with traction control and 1000cc is the same price as this. So this is the Victory cross-country tour. Steve Thornton just did a big trip with his daughter from Utah to BC on one of these. Steve really liked it. And Steve's not a tall guy, but he was able to really handle its weight well. It's a nice low center of gravity. It's a really nice bike. Now, the people who make Victory motorcycles, they're from the Midwest, they're from Minnesota, Bob Dylan's home state. They're fond of really outrageous claims, and they have said that this bike, the Cross Country Tour, is the most comfortable touring bike you can buy. It's more comfortable than a Goldwing. Now, Steve Thornton wasn't quite sure he agreed with that, but it still is a very comfortable bike. And the pearl white on this bike is really nice. In fact, pearl white is the new white. Well, Canada's own BRP, of course, makes the Spider. And this is the latest one. And what I like about this is the color, because my 6-year-old asked me last week what my favorite color was. And I said orange, but I don't really like wearing orange. And I don't know if I'd own an orange car. I've never owned an orange car. And I don't think I'd paint a wall in my house orange or use orange kitchen tiles, but I think it looks really nice here. This is the RSS. This is sort of the downtown urban guy, Can-Am Spyder. It's quite sporty. There's no clutch lever, which means it's the clutchless version. It looks pretty nice. This is nice. Ever since BRP came out with the Spyder, the notion of even what a motorcycle is has changed a lot in the last few years. So it doesn't even necessarily have to have 2 wheels anymore. Now, of course, the Can-Am Spyder has 3. Now this has 4 wheels, and the other wheels swivel, and there's a lot of room for storage. I can't quite say who makes this yet. There's an embargo on this, so we can't actually say. It's top secret, but you'll see it in the pages of the magazine. Well, this is the S1000RR, the new one that I rode a month or so ago in Valencia, Spain. It's not radically changed from its predecessor, but the changes have been made not because it needs more power, because it doesn't. So the engine's unchanged. The changes that have made are to make the handling a little bit more supple, a little bit better feedback to the rider, especially at the limit. Because what World Superbike riders found was that at the absolute limit, it was a bit hard, like the Germans can get. A little bit hard, a little bit entrenched. But this new version is a little bit more supple, gives a little bit more, and it's a lovely bike to ride. It's screamingly fast, and it's $17,500, which is not too much more than the Japanese competition. But the best thing is that it comes with heated hand grips. It's like BMW can't stop themselves from being themselves. At the Yamaha booth, I'm here with the Faceless Boy, and we were just talking about the new R1. Now, Paul Penzo just got back from riding this in California. It's got traction control now. And one of the great things about the bike is the cross-plane crankshaft, so it sounds exquisite. It sounds a little bit like a twin, as we were just saying, and a little bit like a 4. And it's only $14,999, so it's really cheap. And it's a fabulous motorcycle. It sounds great, handles well. And of course, like every leader bike, it's really fast. For 2012, Honda has 2 new bikes related. This is the NC700X. It's designed as sort of a slightly adventure touring-y kind of look. And it's a 700cc parallel twin. The engine is canted very far forward, so this is actually not the fuel tank. It's a storage area large enough for a full-face helmet. And then this is its near twin over here. This is the NC700S, and it is a little bit lower to the ground, less suspension travel. The fairing isn't as substantial. Still has the storage area in here. Well, Honda lately has been trying some unusual things, and the DN01, which was that sort of half motorcycle, half scooter contraption, was kind of a failure. And this bike makes more sense. Looks like a real motorcycle, which I like, which you probably like. And certainly the storage in the fuel tank area, or what used to be the fuel tank area, is a really nice feature. So we'll see how they do. You know, there have been rumors going around that have said that I am not someone who likes Harley-Davidsons, but that's absolutely untrue. Everyone with any common sense knows that the XR750 flat tracker is the most beautiful motorcycle ever made. And this Dyna Switchback, which retails for $18,169, is actually a really nice bike. It has sort of an appealing feature, which is that you can take the panniers and the windshield off easily. So Saturday night you go with your buddies, you go down to a strip club, you know, you let things loose. And then Sunday morning you want to make it up to the missus, so you put the bags on, the windshield on, and you go for a nice Sunday drive. It's a lovely bike, $18,169. This is the Harley-Davidson 48, and I think it's one of the most beautiful motorcycles ever. What's so gorgeous about Harleys is the paint and the anodizing and the sparing use of chrome and polished aluminum. Harley-Davidson gets it better than anyone, even the Italians. And this bike with the yellow tank, it's just so beautiful. I think this bike, along with MV Agusta's F3 and maybe the new 1199 Panigale Superbike by Ducati, my 3 favorite looking motorcycles right now.